Hi, I'm Sal Scalisi, and today I'd like to introduce you to Infoworks AI. Infoworks AI is a tool that saves data professionals a significant amount of time to prepare data for analytics. What I'm going to show you leverages advanced AI capabilities. It has knowledge of business terminology and allows you to explore, cleanse, and transform your data in a highly automated manner. What we're going to do today is we're going to address a use case from a fictional company called Nexicor. Nexicor is an e-retailer that has realized an increase in shipping delays in recent months. The logistics team has asked me, a data analyst, to come in and help them solve this issue and generate for them a report that shows them the users that qualify for a shipping refund. The first thing that I need to do to address this particular use case is to understand and explore my data. Infoworks allows me to connect to my data warehouse, and then Infoworks AI will actually automatically crawl the metadata in my data warehouse, gathering that technical metadata, and it also allows me to upload data dictionary type of information. This information gives business context to my data and makes the results generated by Infoworks AI more accurate. Once I've established connectivity to that data warehouse, which is Nexicor in my example, I can then start to understand the data, understand the columns and the data types that are available in my particular database. So for example, in my orders table, I have shipping information, including order date, ship date, and I can even explore further by going into the metadata tab and looking at the business context information that was uploaded from my data dictionary. This gives me information such as the number of days at which a customer qualifies for a shipping refund, which is going to be critical to solving my particular use case. So now that I've connected to, got a little bit of an understanding of my data and explored my data, now I can start to see what I need to do to solve this particular use case. And the first step is to make sure that I have quality data. So that's where Infoworks assists by allowing me to profile the data in my data warehouse. I can just show the profile of my data, and this generates a profiling report that shows me things like the skewness of the data, if it's evenly distributed. It shows me things like minimum and maximum values. And I can see, I'm just going to close this side panel to give myself some more real estate. I can see that I have a minimum and maximum order date, and I can start to evaluate the quality of this data. If I look at the order date versus the shipping date specifically, I can see that my minimum shipping date is December 19th, 1955, whereas my minimum order date is April 19th, 2005. And this is showing a indicator that there's some data quality issue because I have a shipping date that occurred before an order was even placed with my website. So I need to go and clean this data. So the next step for me is to go back to my workspace, and now I can ask Infoworks AI to start to cleanse this data. So the thing I'm going to ask it is to calculate the shipping time of shipped orders, but where the shipping date happens to occur before the order date, I want it to generate a average shipping time based on the rest of the order, so I can approximate when the order shipped, even if my data isn't as clean as I'd like it to be. Infoworks will go and access the AI model and bring in the technical metadata along with the business metadata for the use case, and it will generate accurate recommendations on what to do next. So here it's generating a SQL query, and I can go ahead and run this SQL query in my SQL editor pane, and this will provide for me information about my orders. So it's providing the order ID, the customer ID, the order date. It's showing me what's called an imputed ship date, which just means that it was a ship date that was generated by the code in instances where the order date happened to occur after the shipping date. And then it gives me a calculation of the time that it took to ship a particular order. Now that I've cleansed those values from my data, where there were instances of shipping dates occurring before orders were placed, now the next step for me is to start to build out this report that is required by my logistics team. And this report is requiring additional information about customers and whether or not they qualify for a shipping refund. So I need to transform my data. So again, I'm going to make a request to Infoworks AI. And I've asked Infoworks AI to modify the query that I just generated and add some customer information and also add an indicator of whether the customer qualifies for a shipping refund. And if you think back to when we looked at the metadata, I was augmenting that metadata with business glossary or data dictionary type of information that told the Infoworks AI model that anyone who had a shipping time more than 10 days qualified for a shipping refund. So now I have my query and I can bring that query over to my editor and run that query. And this will generate the report required by my logistics team. So now they can take this report and they can identify the customers in my data, their contact information, their shipping time, and whether or not they qualify for a shipping refund. Now I can export this data out so that it can be integrated with a third-party reporting platform, or I can just send them this data as is. So to recap what we've seen today, we've seen how Infoworks AI automates many of the tasks associated with data analytics and assists data professionals in highly automating their day-to-day tasks, including exploring data, where we gathered metadata and we joined it with business contextual data to generate more accurate results, to cleansing the data, where we detected a problem by profiling the data and then used the AI to actually generate a solution for that data discrepancy. And then finally, to actually transform the data to make it a usable data set by the end user where they can take action on the data that's generated. And if you'd like to try out Infoworks AI yourself, go ahead and sign up for a free trial today. Thank you.